So fine. So now let's do it. So here it is a line function. Okay. So I'll just copy. I need to modify a little bit. Okay. So try to work with me. So instead of now small l, I'll put capital L. Okay. So it just distinguish. So instead of capital L also, I'll say cur. So it is helpful to draw the cur. Now what I will be having, I will be having a start point. Okay. So start point comma end point. So I'll do in this way. This is start point. So first element is 0 0 0 only, and this is again start point. The second element is y. Okay. And similarly for end point, first element is x and end point, the second element is y. Okay, so in this way I'm going to do it. So I call this as a cur, so which will help me to draw the cur on the screen. So you just try to modify this. I'll give you some 2 minutes. So it is an array. So start point is an array. It will be having a first element as x coordinate and second element as the y coordinate. Later on I'll explain you. So I just rename this cur. It will take two inputs, start point and end point. Because this requires as a one single unit, and for drawing cur, I'll be having some 2 points earlier with me, and then clubbing together become a challenge. So I just simplify start point separately and the end point separately. So if you are done, just let me know. Okay, so just I'll go ahead. During the testing, I'll give you some time. Okay, so just listen here now. Okay, carefully. So I'm going to write a function called as Hermit. So later and whatever the curve we study, on your own you can create. So maybe for Bezier you can create. B-spline is little tough for you right now. Okay, so for B-spline we will go most of the theoretical aspect. We will go all the details of mathematics, but don't go with the numericals and all those stuff with the B-spline. It's little tougher. Okay, and in online mode, it's very difficult to convince you how it is going to happen. Okay, so let it be. So we'll go with these two things, that is Hermit and the B-spline. Okay, sorry, Hermit and Bezier. So I just create a function called as Hermit. Okay. Now what is going to require? So if you remember that we require I require P0 point, okay, then I require P1 point, okay, and then I also require tangent. So dp0 is the tangent at the first location and dp1 is the tangent at the second location. Okay, so if these are the things available with me, I can go ahead with the drawing a Hermite curve. Okay, so first of all I create a variable var h. Okay, so h is a matrix. So if you remember, that matrix is 2 comma, you could verify this please with me. I may make a mistake, so you have to just verify it whether I am writing a correct or not. Okay, because I have to focus on lot of things. So -3 -2 and this is of course -1. Next is 0 0 1 0. Okay, so next will be 2 zeros, 1 comma 0, and last will be 1 0 0 0 comma 1 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0. Okay, so this is my H matrix. If you remember, it is a 4 by 4 matrix. So just let me know whether this matrix is correct or not. Just verify this and just let me know whether this matrix is correct or not, which we have derived earlier. Okay, so I got one reply. Anybody else? चला, come on, reply करा पटकन. Okay, fine. So I got a few replies. Correct. Now let's create a matrix Px. So that is for the x coordinate. Okay. So var Px equal to, okay, so it is a one-dimensional array. So I have P0 point, okay, and whose first point is x coordinate always, okay, then comma P1 whose first point is x coordinate of P1, comma, then I will have dp0 and first coordinate is x coordinate. So remember, tangent also we specify in this way. You could open your the problem in front of you. So all x values I am specifying, or first values I am specifying for the point as well as tangent vector. So dp1, okay, so this is what is my array. Okay, so this represents x coordinate of first point, x coordinate of second point, x coordinate of tangent first tangent vector, x coordinate of second tangent vector. So in this way I got the value of px. Okay, so let's copy this and create py, and I just need to replace this with 1. So the second one is y coordinate. Okay, so this is how I'm going to have my x coordinate as well as my y coordinate. Now I create matrix called as mx. Okay, which is the multiplication of h into px. Okay, so I need to use multiply, and of course I need to provide H matrix, I need to provide px matrix 4, 4, 1. So this will give me a multiplication, and that will be stored in variable mx. Okay, then similarly I'll be having my is equal to multiply h into py, 4, 4, 1. Okay, so this is going to give me py, mx, sorry. Okay, so just let me know whether you understood the concept of mx and my. If not, you can ask the question or you can just reply, please. Okay, so one reply I got. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is what we have multiplied. Now only term is that I need to calculate each point with by varying the value of u. So u I need to multiply. There is a matrix of u which I need to multiply, and then I'm going to get all those values. Okay, and once I have those values, what I can do, I can go ahead start doing the plotting the curve. So let's multiply this. So initially what I do, I say I'll get for the 0. Okay, I'll get for the 0, that is my start point. I should be aware of my start point where value of u is 0. Okay, so how do I get start point of my point? So let's define var. Okay, first this is how I'm going to get ux. Okay, so just calculate it. We'll calculate first. Okay, and then we'll club it together. So I'll call this as a px variable. Okay, so if you remember, the matrix is u cube, u square, u, and then 1. Okay, and that will be multiplied with the corresponding mx. So I'm going to manually do that. Okay, so how I'm going to do it? So I need a cube, math dot power into u. So presently I just put it u here, and I'll set the value of var u equal to 0. So later on I can copy paste this value, u cube into mx. Okay, so mx first value plus math dot pow, then it will be u square. Okay, and it will be into mx second value 1. Okay, then plus u square I got, then I'll be having u into mx, then I'll be having a third value, and finally the fourth value will be added as it is. So that will be mx3. So in this way I am going to get a value of px. So that is, I am writing a formula in simplified form, that is u cube into mx0 plus u square into mx1 plus u into mx2 plus 1 into mx3. So I'm not writing 1 here in this case. Okay, so I'm writing just as it is. So now I just copy, okay, and put it here, and I call this as a py. Okay, and instead of mx now I'll put my because this is for the y values. Okay, y. Okay, so just let me know whether you got the first coordinate point, start point, that is px py. Have you understood this? Just let me know, or if you have a question you can ask. The term px and py. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this is what we got it. Okay, so now we have to create a start point. Okay, so I create a start point is equal to, so that will be px comma py. Okay, so I'll just define this as a var and it will be array. Okay, so this is my start point which I have created. Now once the start point is created, I can go with the creation of rest of the points. So I say for u equal to, so I go with 0.25. I will go with 0.25 initially. I'll just do the verification. U less than equal to 1, u equal to u plus 0.25. So increment in the u is by 0.25. Okay, so this is how I am going to vary the u, and I am going to calculate the all the points. Okay, this is what I am going to do. So what I do, just I'll copy and paste this equation again. Okay, and put it here. So if you remember, initially u was 0, so I got my start point. But here in this case, I am going to get a second point because u is starting from 0.25. So I could say var endpoint is equal to px comma py. So just let me know whether you understood the concept of endpoint, because here in this case initially u will be 0.25. So this gives me px py again, and which represent the endpoint. Same I am calculating, but the only u has changed to 0.5. Previously px py I calculated for u equal to 0. Okay, so just let me know. Okay, fine. So some of you have answered. So this is what endpoint I have received. Fine. Okay. So now what remains is the drawing curve. So curve. Now what requires? It requires start point. So I just pass on the start point, comma. It requires end point. So I just pass on the end point. That's it. So this will draw me the curve. So this is my first point and this is my second point. So within these two I got something. Within these two I got something. So for next time, what happens, my start point is going to become my end point. Okay, that is going to change, and the new endpoint will be again calculated, but that time now u will be added together for next time, and u becomes now 0.5. So as u becomes 0.5, new value will be calculated for endpoint, and already the previous endpoint I stored as a start point. So what happened, the curve will be continuous, and in this way this loop goes on, and I will get a what you say, Hermite curve according to what the equation I'll be having. Okay, so I just hit save. Okay, fine, no issue. And then I switch back to the Chrome browser, press F12 key. Okay, so let's create a point. So P0 I create, and I'll give the coordinate as 0, 0. So let this be starting at this location. Okay, let it be starting be at this location, and P1 is equal to, let's have a point 200, 200. Okay, so this is my point, and let's say tangent vector dp0 will be, let us say, 0, 1. So 0, 1 means there is no x available, only y is available. Okay, just hold on a minute. Hello. Okay, so what is the meaning, that the tangent vector is vertical only. Okay, so tangent vector is parallel to y-axis. Meaning of this is this. Okay, so if you provide 0.5, 0.5, that means the tangent vector is inclined by 45 degrees. So in this way you can calculate. So this is basically representing delta x, and this represents delta y. Okay, so first factor is delta x and second factor is delta y. Now dp1 is equal to, let's have this also same, no issue. Okay, and now I can use Hermite. Whether it is loaded or not. Okay, it is not loaded. So again I'll reload this. Okay, fine. So now all the points have been disappeared. So I start with P0. I start with P1, DP0, DP1. Okay, so name R is missing. Okay, so let it be, it is Hermite now. Fine, let it be. We will change later on, because now again I have to enter it. Okay, so I need P0, then I need P1, then y dot, then I need DP0, then I need DP1. Okay, so if I hit enter, so I got this line. Okay, so I don't know why I got only straight line. It should be connected actually with multiple curves. Okay, so now we have to debug it. Okay, so what I do, I just change this to 1, 0. Okay, and then maybe Hermite again. So I am getting the same thing. Okay, so there is a bug in it, so that now we have to solve. I am getting a line, that's very clear. I am getting a line. Okay, so what I do, I just go ahead. So this is always going to be px, py, multiple values. I did not get the meaning. Line 84. Yeah, correct. So I use px and py, and here also px and py. So, but once that is done, I don't think so that is going to make a difference, because it is a reassignment again. Anywhere I am not using px and this px and py after multiplying it. Okay, so just leave it. I change this to 1. Okay, so to avoid the confusion, I'll just change to 1. Okay, I'll just change to 1. Now what I do, I'll see only first point. So u equal to 0.25. So I just made this to be 0.25. So I'll just check out first line. And of course I want to print all these values. So let's log the values, whether I'm getting correct values or not. Okay, so first of all, console.log, okay, mx, console.log my. Okay, so I hope previously we have solved problem. Okay, so let's use, I cannot use those values because those are very small values, but okay, fine, still I can at least verify those values. So I'll just put it as 1, no issue. I'll just hit save, and then I also log these values. So where I am making mistake, that I will try to find out. And pt. Okay. So I just hit save and I just reload it. Okay. So I'll create a p0 is equal to. So you have solved this problem. So we will try to, you have those mx values and my values. Okay, so at least we will try to verify those values. P1 40,60, just okay. So we will be in a position to verify this value. dp0 equal to, so 1,1, and dp1 is equal to 2,3. Okay, so this was the stuff. So we are not taking the y coordinate here in this case. That's it. That's the only difference. Okay, but that's not going to make a difference. So Hermite P0, P1, DP0, comma DP1. Okay. So you have those values. So just let me know these mx values are correct or not, mx and my. 14.734, and that is coming 22 point something. 24 point something and 35. So at least these values are correct. Okay, all these values are correct. And now let me verify the value of y. Y is 15, 22 point something and 37.25 and 52.5 and 4060. Okay, so all these values are correct. So now what is the trouble? Okay, so I'll just change to P1 value, some with larger value, and then we might be in a position to observe the thing. So I'll call this P1 is equal to, say, maybe 300, comma 200. Okay, and I call the hermit again. Okay. So this is what is the line is coming only. Three hundred comma 200. So there must be some problem in line command. The meaning is that. Okay, so I'm using a curve. Start point 0, start point this, and then line to end point 0 and end point this. So this line is correct. U is also correct. So end point is equal to px1 py1 and then start point is equal to end point. Oh, that is what is the problem. So it is an array, so I cannot assign in this way. Okay, I cannot assign in this way. So 0, comma end point 1. So save it. Okay, I just reload and do it again. So P1 is this, DP1 is this, DP0 is this, this is P1. P0. Okay, P0 is this. Now use Hermite. It is coming straight, still straight line. Okay, so we just focus on this. The problem is here only. Endpoint 0. So I draw the curve. I can say px1, and here also I can say py1. Okay, doesn't make any difference. So after drawing, my start point is going to my end point is going to become my start point, and end point new will be calculated. So let's go up to step by step I want. So how I can do it step by step? Okay, so console log end and console log start. Okay, so let's hit save and reload. P0, DP0, DP1, P1, then Hermite. Okay, so my start is 10:15. From 10:15, this is what I am getting, and again I get a N54, and my start point is going to become this. My end point is this. So I'm printing start point later. So start point is this. This is the end point. This is the end point. So start point becomes previous one. This is the end point. But here start point is 154. Yeah, correct. 154. And end point is this. So start point will become 254. So line is coming correctly, but why it is coming straight line? That is what is the problem. Okay, so presently what you could do, you could just note down these things. Okay, so later on I'll just find out what is the issue here in this case. Okay, so actually it should come line itself, but the line should be something like this. I'll just verify what is happening. So in this way it will come something like this. Okay, and it should appear something like this. So this is what is the curve what is going to come. Now if you make u very small, then it will become a very smooth curve. This is what is the objective. Okay, so with rough u the line is supposed to come like this. With very small u it is going to come like this. So I'll just check what is the problem, and then later on we'll do it. Okay. So last time we were at this location and we are supposed to calculate all these W's. Okay. So area A1 is calculated. You have all calculated. Okay. So D1 you have A1 is 451.55. Okay. So I could write here okay. So 451.55 and length of element is 500. Okay. And then row is 7800 into 10 to the power minus 9 kg per mm cube. Okay. And the acceleration due to gravity is 10. So just let me know this value of W. Okay. So I am calculating this factor only. So we'll go step by step. First we will find out this value. So let me know this values first. So 51.555 into 500 into 7800 into 10 to the power minus 9 into 10. Okay, so just let me know. I may make a mistake in decimal places. My answer is coming 17.61. Is it 1.761 or 17.61? Just let me know. Okay, 17.27 something. So we are very close to each other. Okay. So you can take any value. Okay, 17.27 or 17.61 doesn't going to make a difference. Okay. So similarly, we will also calculate this. So area here in this case is 189.05. Okay. So it is 189.05. So I am taking just two decimal places. You may have a more accurate answer, obviously. 500 into 7800 into 10 to the power minus 9, and of course that will be into 10. Okay, so you can calculate this value and just let me know. So one way is to 17.61. If that is what is your answer, so I say divided by 451.555 and into 189.05. So most probably somewhere around 7.37 this would be the answer. Okay, so just verify this. These are the answers coming. Yeah. Okay. So now we will go to this location. Okay. So here in this case, I'll just write RW value. So I'll use my values. You can use your values. Okay, which will be having a higher accuracy since you are taking more number of decimal places. 17.61. divided by 6, of course. (17.61) divided by 6, that is 2.935. 2.93. I'm using only 2 decimal places. Okay, so this will be also 2.93, and for W3 that will be 2 by 3. Okay, so 2 by 3 of that, that is 2 divided by 3 into 17.61. So it will be 11.74. Okay, 11.74. Now Q4 I want. Okay, for 2 this will be also added up. So for 2 location this will be also added. So 7.37 will be also will be available. So 7.37 divided by 6. So that will be 1.22. So at 2 location it will be 1.22. This will be also added because 2 is also here, 2 is also here. Then at 4, okay, at 4 it will be 1.22, and plus I have applied the 5000 Newton load. Okay, then 2 by 3 of 7.37. So that's coming 4.91. Okay, so this is what is my answer. So just let me know whether this is correct or not. And this will be R1, not plus 1. This will be R1. Okay, so just verify this and just reply whether this is correct or not. So just got one reply. Yeah, so now obviously what is remaining is our system of equation. Okay, so that we have to solve. So you have the Gauss elimination program. So you create this 4 by 4 matrix, of course. Okay, and you have the constant matrix. And now let me know the values of all Q. Okay, so I don't have lines. Okay, erase this. So from where this has appeared. Okay, fine. So I'm going to draw. So what is Q2? what is Q3, what is Q4, and finally what is Q5. Okay, so these are the values I wanted. So just solve this and let me know these values. Okay, has anyone got the answer? Is anyone doing calculation? It's just a small program you have to run. Is I'm audible? Okay. Yeah. So ROE, I think so. You forget 10 raised to power 5 this factor. Okay. So we can divide each values by 10 raised to power 5. No problem. Okay. So I just write down. What is the problem? Okay. So 2850 into 10 to the power 5 minus 5, of course. 1466 into 10 to the power minus 5, 9437 into 10 to the power minus 5, and 6130 into 10 to the power minus 5, and all units are in mm. Okay. So do verify if these are the answers. Okay. So everybody is getting almost same answer. So only thing is that you may have forgot to multiply 10 to the power minus 5 because 10 to the power 5 is what is a common factor. Okay. So you can also do later on. So now the question is finding the stresses. So we are aware of sigma equal to 2 by LE. This derivation already we have done. So 2 xi minus 1 by 2, 2 xi plus 1 by 2, and of course minus 2 xi. Okay, and this is matrix. Sigma is equal to, this is because this is B. Okay, this value is B term, and into Q into E. So I forgot to write E, so I just write E over here. It's E into EBQ. So this B, and finally I will be having a Q matrix of that particular element. Okay. So how do I get sigma 1? So sigma 1 is E, that is 2 into 10 to the power 5, 2 by LE. So it is at node 1. So my xi value is minus 1 by 2 to minus 1 plus 1, because at the beginning value is, so this is the element. Okay, so this is node number 1 and this is node number 2. This is 3. So here xi equal to minus 1, xi equal to 1, and this is xi equal to 0. So minus 2 into minus 1, and of course this will be multiplied by q1, q2 and q3. Okay, and similarly you will calculate sigma 2. So using this formulation, q1, q2, q3 remain same for element 1. Similarly you will calculate for sigma 3 also. Okay, sigma 1, sigma 2. So that represents the stress at this location, stress at this location, and stress at this one. So this is what justified non-linearity. Okay, so that is what we are expecting. Now for sigma 4, it will be E 2 by LE. So this is 2. Okay, sigma 2 will be, first I need to calculate sigma 2. Okay, and okay, so I just draw it, and then we will be able to understand what I am trying to talk to. For element 2 now, okay, this is node number 2, this is node number 4, and this is node number 5, in this way. Okay, so I'll be having a sigma 2 here in this case again. You have to verify whether it is coming same or not. So E 2 by LE, okay, that is what is have to multiply. Now xi will be here in this case minus 1. So 2 into minus 1 by 2, 2 into minus 1 plus 1 by 2, minus 2 into minus 1, and now I will be having q2, q4 and q5 in this way. So this sigma 2 both should come same. Okay, if that is coming different, we have made the mistake. Then I could calculate sigma 4. So E 2 by LE into 2 into 1 minus 1 by 2, because xi value is 1 that at that location. 2 into 1 plus 1 divided by 2 minus 2 into 1, and this will be q2, q4 and q5. Similarly, sigma 5 will come as E by 2 LE 2 into 0 minus 1 by 2, because xi is 0 at this location. 2 0 plus 1 by 2 minus 2 into 0, and it will be q2, q4 and q5. Okay, so just calculate this and let me know these values. So has anyone got the answer? Those who got the sigma 1, sigma 2, they can reply. At least sigma 1, sigma 2. So somewhere around 1.5, 10.74 and 11.4. Okay, so we got the answer from ROE. And for this it should come 10.74. Okay, so everybody got the first to be fairly correct. Okay, depending upon the values what we have taken. So for second element, so sigma 4, 26.56, and now sigma 5, 26.34. Okay, so that's fair enough. So these are the values which you could note down now. Okay, and later on those who have not able to do it calculation can do the calculations. Okay, so these are the fair enough values in properly decreasing increasing order. So sigma 1 less than the sigma 2 value is 10.474 and sigma 3 is 11.4. So I think so these values must be swapped. Okay, sigma 2 will be larger than the sigma 3, so that we have to observe. So here in this case you can see sigma 2 is this, so sigma 4 is smaller, 4 is larger, and sigma 5 is smaller. Okay, So you just verify these values. Maybe these values might have interchanged. Okay, so you just try to calculate what is the value. Fine, that's about the quadratic element. So now we move to the next topic, truss. Okay, focus on this. So this is the new topic. So I just draw the element. So this is the element. And we always work with local coordinate. So local coordinate means, so on this is the node 1 and this is the node 2. So this is two noded element. So here the local axis is there. Here the local axis is there because that is the local coordinate. Okay, so just I convert into horizontal. So just to understand that this is 1, okay, and this is 2. So this stands for xi equal to -1 and this stands for xi equal to 1. Okay, so this is by converting into a local form, that is it has a local axis and then we have the two nodes. So it is again, truss is again two noded element. Okay, so we'll try to formulate few things. Okay, so first of all my truss could be of any inclination. So this is node 1 and this is node 2. So since axis I am taking or its coordinate is along the length of the that particular truss, so therefore sigma will be also along the length of the truss. Okay, so therefore the stresses are one dimensional, that is only the axial stresses will be developed, but it will have two degrees of freedom per node. So horizontal displacement is q1 of node 1. Horizontal displacement is q1 of node 1. Then the vertical displacement is q2. Horizontal displacement is q3 and the vertical displacement is q4. So in this way, all the horizontal displacement you go with odd numbering and all the vertical displacement you go with the even numbering. Okay, so this is what all about the having a displacement. So displacement will be q1, q2 and displacement will be q3, q4. Similarly, forces will be horizontal force which I apply will be F1, vertical force will be applying at F2, okay, horizontal force will be F3 and the vertical force will be F4. And of course I should not say F1 and F2 could be replaced by reactions also. So horizontal reaction R1, vertical reaction R2, horizontal reaction R3, vertical reaction R4. So in this way all the nomenclature of the forces we have to follow. Okay, the element is called from lowest node number to highest node number. So this is how I call the element. Okay, so element could be called as 1, 2, 3, 8, 720, okay, maybe 20, 30. Element could be called as 1, 2, 3, 8, 7, 20, 20, 30. But element cannot be called as 10, 5. This is the incorrect way. Okay, 7, 5. This is the incorrect way. So this should not use it. Okay, so element is always called from lowest node number to the highest node number. So this is node, first node, second node, first node, second node, first node, second node, first node, second node. But first node is always having a lower value than the second node. You cannot use higher node number and then go back to the lower node number. So this is the incorrect way of nomenclaturing the truss. Okay. So this you have to understand. So just let me know whether you understood the nomenclature of the truss element. Okay. So again now I draw a one truss. This is 1 to 2, and let's consider it is displaced somewhere here else. So this is the displacement. So initially it was at this location, and now it has reached to this location. So so I just have from here I will do it. Okay. So maybe somewhere displacement. This is I am not able to exactly draw. This should be inclined. So basically these two lines are not parallel. Okay, they are inclined. So what I can say from this, it will have Q1 displacement, and then it will have Q2 displacement vertically. Okay. Similarly for this, if I extend this is Q3 displacement and this is Q4 vertical displacement. Okay. So what it suggests, so basically I'll be having two projections in this way. Okay. So this will be, if I consider this angle to be theta, so this will be Q1 cos of theta, and this length will be Q2 sin theta. Similarly, this length will be Q3 cos theta, and this will be Q4 sin theta. Okay. And along the displacement, so at node 1, so if this is the element, this is the node 1. Okay, so Q1 dash is the displacement along the element. Q1 dash is the displacement along the element, and Q2 dash is the displacement of node 2 along the element. So it is in the direction of the element. Okay, and that is represented as Q1 dash is equal to Q1 cos of theta plus Q2 sin of theta. Okay. Similarly, Q2 dash is equal to Q3 cos of theta plus Q4 sin of theta. Okay. Now L equal to cos of theta and M equal to sin of theta. Now how the cos theta is calculated? It is delta x by L, length of element. How the m is calculated? It is delta y by length of element. Okay, you will not calculate sine and cos. Remember one thing, you will not calculate sine and cos in any case. Always sine and cos has to be calculated using delta x by LE and delta y by LE. Even though sometimes they give you the angle, don't take cos. Okay, so remember cos always vary between 0 to 180. That is what is the problem. Okay, and we are dealing in a three-dimensional space, and so we want angle to be 0 to 360, and to deal with that we have to work with delta x and delta y. Okay, so delta x could be positive, delta x could be negative. In this way we are going to work out, and depending upon that we are going to get the location. It is likely possible that cos theta and sin theta between even if you see all angles between 180 to 360, that will come maybe within that, because cos of minus theta is minus theta, cos of minus theta is cos theta. So that is what is going to give us the problem, and therefore remember always calculate delta x by LE as a cos theta and delta y by LE as a sin theta, always. Okay, because we are dealing in a three-dimension space and angle between 0 to 360 degrees. So this is the way to do it. So this is what is the equation. Now this equation I will rewrite it again in form of ln m. So q1 dash is equal to q1 into L plus q2 into n. q2 dash is equal to q3 into L plus q4 into m. Okay, so I can write this as a q dash vector is equal to L m 0 0 0 0 L m. Okay, into a 4 by 4 matrix, 4 by 1 matrix q1, q2, q3, q4. So this matrix L is called as T matrix. The T matrix means transformation matrix. Okay, T is called as transformation matrix. A derivation almost every time for 6 marks has appeared in the examination, almost every time, to derive the transformation matrix for the truss element. Okay, almost every time this has appeared. So what is the meaning of this transformation matrix? So if you see q1 dash is along the element, so I can say all dash vector is along the element means along the xi, and what xi is the local coordinate. Okay, and if I see my q1 vector is something like this, q2 vector is something like this. Okay, this vector is in global coordinate. Okay, so these are in global coordinate, not in local coordinate. So what I see, this is local coordinate and this is global coordinate. So what this transformation matrix does, it converts global coordinate displacement into local coordinate displacement, because we are going to derive the stiffness in local coordinate system. Okay, so what it does, transformation matrix, it converts global coordinate displacement vector into a local coordinate displacement vector. So just let me know whether you have understood this or not. Yeah, just let me know. Okay, great. Okay, so now there is a derivation for the stiffness matrix. Okay, so right now the time is not enough for me to continue the lecture. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, we are going to stop here, and next time from this we are going to derive the stiffness matrix. So two short sessions today we have taken. Okay, so I'll just post the attendance.